I'm going to illustrate every fantasy Terraria biome, and today, let's illustrate the Glowing Mushroom Biome. This biome kinda looks boring, so I gave it a literal glow up. Honestly, the 2D perspective of this biome doesn't really give it justice. I want to see it in the perspective of the player, and more realistic. And for my Calamity fans, prepare. I am jpallgraphic, and this is Amateur Artist Tries to Illustrate Terraria Biomes Part 3. To start off, I made a sketch. Now, making the sketch was pretty easy since I already made a sketch of the landscape, even though it's a cave, on my phone. I made sure that the form of the landscape is accurate to Terraria's Glowing Mushroom Biomes, especially with the notable cliffs and lake. I also added this stream which connects to the lake. Now for this area, I have an issue, and that I don't really know what to illustrate here. More accurately, I don't want to illustrate it because it might not look good. And I've given myself two choices, either a fog or a cave wall. If it's going to be a cave wall, then I'll probably suck at making it. And if it's fog, then it would probably be too lazy. Well, we'll see about that. With the sketch finished, I started adding lines to indicate where I will add the mushroom trees with the focus point on the top of this cliff. Now, remember this. Next, I added base colors to the landscape in grayscale, with the lighter landscape being further out. Now, I add the mushroom trees. I made sure that they are accurate as possible to Terraria, and what I mean by that is height. These are going to be tall. From the stems to the caps. Okay, this is blocking the focus point. There we go. And more caps. By the way, these are the glowing mushrooms. Also, mushroom tendrils. They come from the ceiling and on water surfaces. I'm not sure if I'm using the term correctly because it states here that a tendril is some sort of specialized stem or a thread-like appendage of a climbing plant, often growing in a spiral form. It stretches out and twines around any suitable support, but I don't really know what other term I could substitute with it, so I'm gonna just go with mushroom tendrils. With the tendrils added, I added more mushroom trees, some glowing mushrooms attached to these trees, and this chubby mushroom over here. Pay attention to this as well. With all of the basic elements added, I tried adding some fog onto the background. A bright one since that's fitting for a glowing mushroom biome. However, I haven't really finished adding the rest of the detail, so it looked really ugly. So get out of here. Anyway, let's color the landscape. The further away it is, the darker the light, because that's accurate. Oh, that's gone too? Fine. I guess let's detail the small caps. Okay, now can we color the ground? Wait for it. Wait for it. And there we have it. I also colored the cap spots blue and started incorporating such detail to the bigger caps on the mushroom trees. I also detailed the chubby mushroom. I will also be detailing the mushroom tendrils and most of the mushroom caps. And you know what? Let's showcase this with a time lapse. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention this, but I also detailed these mushrooms on the mushroom trees. With most of the caps detailed, I started detailing the stems, which I made darker than the caps not make it blend too much. I made the design simple so that it won't overwhelm you, because there are a lot of these. And also, I won't make the stems glow because it would just blend in and make the glowing mushroom tree look too bland to look at. Add a bit of interest, you know? This took a while, but it was fun. I also colored some caps in the process. I also added a section below the cap because mushrooms have those, and once I finished detailing the stems, I detailed the rest of the caps. it was easy to detail, but it took a very long time. With the mushroom tree caps complete, it's time to detail the ground. Now, I made the ground really simple because first of all, it's not grass, and secondly, I don't want it to look too busy. I also made this ground layer a lot brighter because there will be a light beam coming from the ceiling that will emphasize this chubby mushroom. Speaking of this chubby mushroom, this is now the new focus point. Yeah, forget those mushrooms over there. This is what's interesting. Why? Because I can. Anyway, more mushroom spots, and that's most of the foreground detailed. The background though, we have these cliffs. Now, these cliffs would look ugly and blend in with the rest of the artwork if it would be entirely mycelium. So, the tops of the cliffs will be covered with mycelium, while the rest of the cliff face will be mud. I incorporated this idea to the rest of the cliffs. Nice. Now, with the cliffs completely detailed, it's time to deal with this. What do I add here? Well, I've given myself two choices. As I stated earlier in the video, I would either incorporate fog or a cave wall over here. Well, I did neither. I made more cliffs, and eventually, I made some cave arches. Yeah. Now, for the cave wall and ceiling, I didn't want it to be just mycelium for the same reason with the cliffs. So instead, I added some scattered mycelium and mushroom blobs on the cave walls. And already, it looks a lot better. Looks like most of the artwork is complete. However, the lighting looks very boring. It's too flat. But before we do that, let's add some mushroom trees on the other side of the lake and give this chubby mushroom an entrance. Now it's a mushroom house. Alright, lighting time. I added a black overlay to imitate a cave setting and removed it in some areas, like the ground and caps, to imitate a glow-like feel. Moreover, I also added some glow to these mushroom caps and a side vignette. I also added some small waves on the river. And now that looks way better. Anyway, it's time to finish this artwork. First, we add light coming from the ceiling that emphasizes this mushroom house. Secondly, we detail the chest. Now, people might not like this, but the chest is a golden chest. Why? Well, 3 reasons. 1, I forgot it was a mushroom chest. 2, it's a good focus point because it stands out compared to the rest of the artwork. And 3, I am too lazy to change it. Anyway, let's add some glowing fungus, change the mushroom tree sizes on the cliffs, because for some reason I lost the original layer, add some flying spores, and that's the first artwork complete. Well, what do we have here? What we have here is an ambient glowing mushroom biome that looks incredibly vibrant but also displays the actual biome pretty well. As you can see, most of the original elements are here. We have the glowing mushrooms, we have the mushroom trees, we have the mushroom cliffs, we have the lake, we have the tendrils, the mushroom background, and I also added other elements like pores, these glowing fungi, and as for the focus point, I made it a golden chest. I mean, mushroom biomes do have golden chests, so I guess that's another valid excuse I can come up with. But anyway, do you think we're done? Of course not, because we're going to add the signature boss of this biome. And you may be thinking, there's no mushroom boss. In vanilla at least. What about the Calamity mod? Hit it. And that's this part complete. If you want to see me illustrate the Crimson and Corruption biome, click this playlist over here or this video over here. Thank you so much for watching, and go and do what you're meant to be doing. Happy 2025!